This work session regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. Madam Clerk?
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of the Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020 work session regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was provided as required by law.
Thank you. Mr. Chase, if you're ready, you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All other council members mute, not required to stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mr. Galtieri, if you could please present a invocation.
As we gather here today as members of the Township Council, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Here.
Councilwoman Francois? Councilman Galtieri?
Here.
Mayor Kramer?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Oni Johnson? Councilwoman Pruitt? Here. Councilman Vaxanella?
Here.
Councilman Wright?
Thank you. We're here, and we're on to item number 5, commendations and proclamations and Juneteenth celebration proclamation. Mr. Councilman Ambasarian, if you could please read that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the Juneteenth proclamation we thought was appropriate to make. So it reads as follows. Whereas Juneteenth is the nation's oldest celebration commemorating the day which marked the effective end of slavery, and whereas on June 19, 1865, Union General Robert Glazier led thousands of federal troops to Galveston, Texas, to announce that the Civil War had ended and slaves had been freed. And whereas today we commemorate the anniversary of that delay, welcome new, and whereas decades of collective action would follow as equality and justice for African Americans advance slowly, frustratingly, gradually on our nation's journey toward a more perfect Juneteenth. And whereas Juneteenth is a time to recommit ourselves to the work that remains undone, and we remember that even in the darkest hours, there is cause to hope for tomorrow's light. And now, therefore, I, Tom Barrison, Mayor, Councilman, and on behalf of the Mayor of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, on behalf of the Township Council and the citizens of the Township of Franklin, proclaim on this Juneteenth that today, no matter our race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, we recommit ourselves to working to free modern-day slaves from around the world and to honoring in our own time the efforts of those who fought so hard to steer our country toward to our highest ideal.
Thank you. Next item is public discussion. We have a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
And a second. All in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are open to the public, limited to 2 minutes. State your name and address, no yielding of time. Mr. McQueen.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor. Anybody from the public that is dialed in or on the computer, logged in via the computer to the WebEx session, if you open your chat window, on the bottom right is a raise hand feature. That will raise your hand indicating you wish to speak. Once you're done speaking, please lower your hand by hitting the same button. Anyone dialed in by phone, you may hit *3 on your telephone. That will raise the hand, and *3 again will take your hand down. So at this time, anybody wishing to speak in the public section, please raise your hand. Mr. Mayor, I do not see any indication that anyone would like to speak.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I think that is a motion to close. Public
Second.
session. All in favor of closing public session, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. The public session is closed. On to Township Council Committee reports. I'll do this in screen order. I can see the top of Mr. Wright's head. You're not really on screen, Mr. Wright. If you wish to speak, you're muted. Perhaps he'll come back to you, because I'm not sure you just got on. Maybe you're having communication troubles. Deputy Mayor Onijaka, you wish to speak. You're muted.
Oh, muted? Okay, hold on.
Now we can hear you.
I'm muted?
No, now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, the council. I will say I'm highly impressed with what McAfee, our school in Franklin, did for graduating students during this COVID-19. The school teachers, they went to each graduating student to drive through at this time. And this turned their graduation into fun. They stopped at the graduating students' home. A good example, they stopped at one of my good friends, Chief Azu, who his son just graduated, which they stopped there, their teachers went hands through the walked to their house, all in their car through drive-through. To me, it was very, very amazing. And I congratulate them, and I congratulate the graduating students, and I congratulate Wike too. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilman Wright, did you want to speak? It wasn't clear when I first asked you.
Hello?
Hi, when you had just gotten on when we started your council comments, I didn't know if you wanted to speak or not.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I've had a devil of a time trying to get on here.
Yes, I know.
For the past 2 weeks, what I did is I went on 2 Black Lives Matters demonstrations here in Franklin Township, more or less to bring issues to the township, to our leaders about what this situation was all about. And I want to say that our township manager and our public safety director, Spiel, they did an actual perfect job because they helped us along the way with police protection and route diagrams. Also, on Wednesday, we have our land use meeting, and a couple of items will come up there. I'm more than sure our township manager might touch on just a little bit of that. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, I have nothing to say. I'm running in. So I just got on the phone and here I am. Sorry about that.
Here you are, and you're the best dressed of all of us. Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Pruitt. I'm just doing this in screen order, by the way, guys.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll echo what my colleague, Councilman Wright, just mentioned. I too was able to participate in the Juneteenth rally that occurred on Saturday. Obviously, thank you to Councilman Wright and the organizers and the police department for getting that together very quickly. It turned out really well. The weather was in their favor. I was also invited to participate in I guess, town hall that the police department put on. I think it was a really effective and thoughtful event, and I give kudos to the police department for taking the initiative to really start engaging with the community, and I hope that they continue that. I think it was successful, and I think the community who were able to catch it did get a lot out of it. I was also able to swing by to see the reaffirmation of the oath that the police department also did last week. So that was a nice event to witness. And I just want to kind of reiterate, like, we are in the middle of a movement, and I think, you know, as long as we continue to be thoughtful and our hearts are open, and are really willing to challenge ourselves and have really uncomfortable conversations, we'll find ourselves in a better place and on the right side of history. So we're just going to keep doing the work, and I'm thankful for my colleagues who are also willing to have really tough conversations, and that, you know, we're looking to be progressive and thoughtful and receptive to the needs of our community, especially those who feel disenfranchised and marginalized. So we are listening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman James Vassanello.
Councilman Wright said we will be doing the land use meeting tomorrow. We haven't had one for a few months, so we'll be reporting on that at the next council meeting. I did attend virtually Central Jersey Housing Resource Center meeting. We've been having those regularly, virtually, and I just want to let people know, because now there obviously will unfortunately be some more housing issues concerning possible evictions. So the Central Jersey Housing Resource Center, which provides a lot of services, including handles a lot of our affordable housing and other educational aspects and advisory aspects of people with housing issues. They will be operating completely virtually, and they have a drop-off pickup for paperwork. Right now, it hasn't been deemed safe yet to have people come in and out of the office for counseling purposes, but that should happen soon. In the meanwhile, like I say, by phone and virtually, they can handle all of their business, and paperwork can be delivered and picked up and dropped off via a system they have set up. They are advising people concerning the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures that is in place in the state through August 31st. So you can reach out to them on advice on better clarity on that. There also is rental assistance programs concerning COVID, who have suffered one way or the other financially because of COVID. And I know some that we're addressing as a town and others that are available through the state. There is certain time periods. I've written down here July 6th to July 10th. I'm not absolutely sure about that window, but there are specific windows for people to apply for the assistance. So you can contact town. We may have information on our website, or you're free to contact Central Jersey Housing Resource Center, again, which provides many services to Franklin residents. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Councilman Vassanello. Councilman Armbarson. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
You're good now.
Okay. Yeah, we have a HRC meeting tomorrow, virtual meeting, obviously. This will be our second meeting of the year. Our special guest is our new public safety director, Will. Will be on it. So that's one. And then, just like the other two council members. On Saturday, June 20th, I went to the Juneteenth celebration, and it was a wonderful event. It really brought back something in my mind. In India, there's a caste system that has been there for ages, and there are certain caste people, lower caste people, that are untouchables. In fact, there's a word from my language that has been brought into English dictionary, the word pariah. The pariah is actually the name of the caste that the untouchables belong in our side of the country. And these people did not have any rights in the olden days. They cannot touch anybody. They cannot step into your house. Lots of issues with that kind of a system. So that brought this Juneteenth just brought back those memories. And in today's world, such injustice cannot exist. And I think as council members, we all should be united and fight for the justice and equality for all. Other than that, I also attended the reaffirmation of vote. It was a really nice event with a lot of French leaders in the town. And then finally on June 18th, at the Franklin Food Bank, we were with the Assemblyman Joe Danielson's team to make about 70 pizzas to give it to the food bank clients and make them really, really happy. So I believe such events in the township where we participate really demonstrates our commitment to be part of the community and show that we care. And like all of you, I love living in Franklin, and hopefully we can all progress well in the future. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
Thank you, Mayor. As the state enters into phase 2 of its reopening strategy, and it allows our residents to engage in more and more activities, I want to just remind everybody to participate in 2 very important activities. Don't forget to complete the U.S. Census and make sure you vote in the July 7th primary election. These actions are very vital to the health and well-being of our entire nation and specifically our community. And I would also like to send my heartfelt congratulations to all the college and high school graduates and to their parents and their friends and their families. I wish them much success in all their personal and professional endeavors. And I also would like to applaud the compassion and the passion and the perseverance of all the people who have demonstrated in all the activities in Black Lives Matter, for the social, health, and economic upheaval within these United States. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Ted Chase.
I think we kept pressing the button more or less simultaneously. I too attended the reaffirmation oath given by the police. I think 70% of the entire police force was present, the others being out doing their job. And I'd like to note that it was addressed by a number of township clergymen, all of whom were very supportive of our police. I, and I'm sure the whole council, have received a great many email messages from people in the township and outside it calling on us to defund our police department, divert 2/3 of the police budget to other activities. And I feel tempted to reply to them. Well, first of all, we feel we have a good police force that does not need to be have funds diverted. In fact, if anything, we are being told that we ought to have more policemen on the force. And also these people who send this standardized message are, I think, quite unaware of how township government works, how, for instance, the school budget is raised, set by the Board of Education. The council has nothing to do with it and cannot divert money to the school budget. But I won't go on anymore about that. I've been using this time to clean up some back paper in my home office, and I come across things like Phillips Road area stream restoration project from CME in July 2014, and I feel like asking the manager, have we made progress on that? And similarly, on shoring up the foundations of the Van Wickle house, have we made progress on that? Because these are projects I'm aware of, but I never know quite where they're at. I think that's probably enough for me to say thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chase. Councilman Galtieri.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll first start off with a reminder that, as Councilwoman Francois said, we are entering into phase 2, but I know there are still people concerned about still going out and shopping or being able to get out to do certain things. So the Residents Helping Residents Franklin group is still active. They have been helping people that may still feel at risk and not able to get out. So that is still available. Additionally, in next 2 weeks, we'll be having the Sewage Authority public hearing for the adoption of the budget. As mentioned last time, we are looking at a 0% increase in rates. So we are fortunate to be able to still support the operations and with the income we have. With that being said, I just want to echo also congratulations to our to those graduating high school and also college. Sitting on my desk off camera is my diploma my cap and gown from this year that I was supposed to partake in a graduation also. So I understand the frustration, and I'm excited to see that our high school is able to do something for the students. Although you may not be with all your classmates, it's still a celebration that you should enjoy, and I hope you do enjoy on that day. And I hope that it's not too hot for you. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I know you had excellent weather, so I hope you got to enjoy it. Please be safe in the 4th of July holiday coming up. I know there's complaints about fireworks going on around town, so follow the rules. We have strict rules for fireworks, and it's to protect everybody. And also remember that pets don't typically like the fireworks also, and it scares them and causes a lot of panic. I know I used to find my dog hidden in the most obscure places because she would be scared of them. So please take that into account if you're close to neighbors. Township updates, just real briefly. Hopefully we'll be approving the paving plan or the paving bid for Willow and 9th Avenue. So that road should hopefully be paved soon if we approve it tonight, and that will go back to a smoother ride finally. I know that's been a long time coming, but hopefully it'll be done in the next couple of weeks. And we are finalizing the 2020 roads. I know there's been some residents reaching out to us, so while they may not be included in this year, we are hoping to have some additional funding that it may be on the list for early spring, or we will certainly have them evaluated for next year's paving plan. And finally, again, please support our local businesses if you can. I know times are financially tough, but these are the businesses that employ a lot of our residents and keep our town going. So please help support local businesses and just stay safe and enjoy the summer and enjoy the nice weather, but socially distancing. And thank you, Mayor. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I think I've called on everybody. So for my comments, I was unable to attend the police affirmation because I, for a long time, was not able to see patients, and they are clamoring to see me. So I was at work. I do like what Councilwoman Pruitt said about we have to be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations. I think that's a major step we can make towards getting it right. I do want to talk a little bit about the primary, which is on June 7th. Most of you should be doing it by vote by mail. No postage is needed. You should have received your vote by mail by now. The last batch went out on the 12th. If you've not received it, contact the town clerk or the county clerk. Because, as I said, you should have seen it. If you don't want to mail it, there is a drop box. There is only one drop box in the entire town. If you know the municipal complex, you go in by the gas tanks that the municipal people fill their tanks with. Across the street from that, across the driveway from the gas tanks, you'll notice wooden steps. It's sitting in front of that. It's a very colorful metal FedEx looking like box, and you can drop it there. There's parking there for you. The township employees will avoid parking there until after July 7th. You can go to the polls, but the machines will only be there for people with handicaps that prevent them from filling out the absentee ballot. You will, if you go to the polls, if you are otherwise not handicapped, then you will have to be given a provisional ballot, and you will fill it out by provisional ballot. There are only 5 polling locations in town. The one in Ward 1 is the Griggstown Firehouse on 1037 Canal Road. There's for Ward 2, there's the Community Center at the Municipal Complex. For Ward 3, there's the Board of Ed building, used to be known as Consolidation, 2301 Route 27. Ward 4, Parkside Community Center, 3 Parkside Street. And Ward 5, East Franklin Firehouse at 121 Pine Grove Avenue. And correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, you can vote at any of these. You don't have to go to the one in your ward. It's more convenient. You can go to any one of them. Is that right, Madam Clerk?
That is correct.
Okay. On to COVID. We are getting better. We had our third 0-0 day this week. 0 cases, 0 deaths. Those are always great days. The numbers are going down and going up in the right direction. Some numbers should go down, some should go up. But it's still, as I mentioned in the Board of Health meeting, there's still some terrible things going on out there. There's a lot of spread from asymptomatic people. There's a lot of young people are asymptomatic and they're getting chest CAT scans afterwards and finding out they have significant lung damage, even though they're totally asymptomatic. We don't know what's going to happen with that lung damage down the line. So please be careful. I'm seeing more and more people without a mask. It just behooves me why some people don't want to wear them. I think if you were going to do one thing, wearing a mask is the best protection you have and the best protection you give to others around you when you wear that mask. Wear a mask, keep your social distancing, wash your hands, get tested, and the county will be doing, and the state will be doing contact tracing. The last point is there's been a warning put out by the FDA about a brand of hand sanitizers. It's ESK Biochem. That's ESK Biochem. One word. If that's the manufacturer of your hand sanitizer, throw it out and don't put a match near it. They use methanol instead of ethanol. I mean, not ethanol. Yeah. It's toxic. So that's ESK Biochem. If you have a hand sanitizer by that, throw it out. That's it for me. I'm trying to bring up my agenda. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A number of issues to report on. The first thing I'd like to report on is that a week from today, June 30th, I think we're going to look to schedule it for 8 a.m. start. It was a 9 a.m. start last time. Zufall Health Clinic will again partner with the Township of Franklin to provide a COVID-19 test site at the Franklin Middle School. A little bit different than the last time. Certainly we'll still look to target that portion of our population that's traditionally underserved as far as healthcare is concerned, those that don't have the ability to get a test at a medical doctor's office. But it is also open to anyone who wishes to come and be tested, whether you are symptomatic or asymptomatic. The testing will be for anyone. There is no need, as in the past, to name Zufall as your primary care provider. The restrictions that the federal government had put on them previously have been relaxed. So anyone who wishes to attend that test site to be tested for COVID-19, you can do so. All of the information, we just were able to firm this up today, so nothing's been put on the website as of yet, but look for that information on the website tomorrow, and it'll also be put out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Nixle. So that's one test site. And then I don't have specifics, but we're hoping that we've had a number of conversations with a private medical practice here in Franklin Township to provide the medical staff and testing for our residents in a public-private partnership. It looks like that will be able to happen hopefully within 2 weeks, and that test will be held again in that Hamilton Street, Franklin Boulevard area. We haven't pinned down a location. It may be at the middle school. We're looking at a number of different locations in that area, but that will be the saliva test, and that will be for this particular medical practice. They've up to this point been utilizing the swab test that Zufall utilizes, but we've spoken with them, and today we had a conversation, and they believe that they will be able to obtain the test kits and the lab to process those test kits, and hopefully over the next few days, you'll be able to see another announcement as far as that test site is concerned in that public-private partnership with one of our medical practices here in town. Next, I'd like to talk about the pool. It looks as if we are still on schedule for the opening of the pool on July 6th. Some things about the pool this year that are different than previous years. There will be no fee to go to the pool this year. There's no family registration, individual registration. There's no registration. What we will be doing, though, because of the restrictions on capacity and the fact that we're limited to 50% of the capacity of the pool, and to avoid people coming to the pool and being disappointed by not being able to be granted access, what we'll be doing is you will be able to phone in the day before and make a reservation for a block of time to come to the pool on the following day. Now, if the pool is not at capacity and you walk up and there's space to be able to get in and still be under our maximum capacity, you'll certainly be granted access, or your child, and so the signs will be put up around the pool announcing all of this, so people who don't hear this on a council meeting or see it on a website will also be putting signs up at the pool to let them know that they can call the recreation department the day before to reserve a spot at the pool for the following day. And as far as our parks are concerned, several changes took place as of yesterday. Athletic fields for organized sports practices, not games, but practices, are now permitted. We've been in communication through the Recreation Department with all of the organizations that provide organized sports here in town, and they're supplying us with their plans on how they'll comply with the state directives on or safety measures related to COVID-19. And we're issuing our own safety directives for all of our park athletic fields. I know there's been a lot of interest about pickleball. Pickleball will again be permitted on our courts and our parks. All of this guidance is now been finalized and will be published on the township website and will be available to any of the organized sports organizations through the recreation department. And just all I'd ask to the public is, please remember that this is, we're not supposed to at this point until July 6th be taking part in organized games. This is for practice purposes on the fields. Likewise, the basketball courts, we are going to be in the midst of reinstalling the basketball rims on all of our basketball courts. It's going to take us a little time. Public Works has to get out to all the basketball courts, and they're going to be doing that over the next couple days. We just remember, everyone, be safe. Be smart, be safe. If you go to the basketball court and have a shoot around, that's fine. We shouldn't be having any 5-on-5 scrimmages at this point with banging bodies going for the rebounds. In a couple weeks, we can begin to relax that a little bit more as we get further into phase 2 and closer to phase 3 in the state. I just ask everybody be smart. And when you're not playing the game, keep your distance from your friends. Wear your masks when you're out in public and in areas where you can't keep that 6 feet, especially. But parks are open. Enjoy them. From what I understand now, based on the governor's announcements today, playgrounds will be open on July 2nd, which is next Thursday. So again, once that happens, give us some time to get the snow fence around it. I will remind everyone that while playgrounds will open, they will not be sanitized on a regular basis. So if you're going to go there, and just bear that in mind, that you should bring hand sanitizer and make sure if your kids are on the playground that you're keeping them washed hands and sanitizing whatever it is that they touch. But we're not going to be able to get out there and sanitize playgrounds on an hourly basis. So this is something you should just bear in mind before you allow your children to play on those pieces of equipment. And lastly, our summer camp, as I announced previously, our summer camp is a virtual summer camp this year. It's going to include a lot of not only fun activities where there'll be packages to be picked up on a weekly basis here at the municipal complex, but also educational, some STEM education options in the summer camp as well. I was pleased to hear from our park director, our recreation director, yesterday that we have nearly 100 people who have signed up for the activities already. So that begins on July 6th. And so there's still time to register. Go to the website and it should be a fun time, not in person, but fun time virtually. And we're still hoping to have some activities perhaps by the time August rolls around when we can see things loosened up even more as far as our restriction. And that's what I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor? Hello?
Yes, Mr. Wright.
I forgot to mention two things, and I went out to check my paperwork. One is that the RPM, which is building our market rate and affordable housing units, they're up and doing a very speedy job, as it were, I should say, over on Voorhees and Churchill Avenue. So I think that when I talked to them, they were looking to frame out so that during the quote-unquote autumn time, they could be inside the building and doing what's required there. Also, I want to ask the township manager, on Phillips Road, we have the screen in the background, the brook. Now, I know we had the engineering part done, and I just want to know when we were going to start.
I believe that it's just been a matter of awarding a contract, going out to bid and awarding a contract, which my understanding is I think it was that may have been done. And Councilman, I'll be honest with you got to give me warning. You catch me off guard here.
Not a problem. I'm sorry about that.
But the truth is the DEP permitting is complete, and all of the bid specs were prepared by our consulting engineer. So the goal was to have that work done in this calendar year. So I believe that we're on schedule to have that happen.
Well, I just want to be able to walk over on Phillips Road and not worry about the people behind me. That's
No, so my suggestion is that you and I are supposed to be in another meeting tomorrow night at 7:00. So ask me again tomorrow at 7:00 and I'll give you an answer because I'll have it by then.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Got some breaking news here. The township manager says no banging bodies under the hood. Moving on to township council discussion items. There are none. Approval of the minutes. I present the following minutes to the township council for approval. Township council work session regular minutes, June 9th, 2020 at 7 p.m. We have a motion on the minutes.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, any corrections? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anunziata? Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Approval of the warrants, warrants in the amount of $7,375,280.73 on June 23rd, 2020 are presented to the Township Council for payment. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
You have a second. Any discussion? Anyone want to pull an item or question tonight? Hearing and seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anunziata? Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
We're now on to item number 12, Community Development Block Grants, presentation from the Cdbg Administrator Deborah Mitchell. Ms. Mitchell, you're muted if you can come on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, we have two items for discussion. Which one? I don't have a copy of the agenda. Which one is first?
Public hearing on analysis of implementation of the.
Okay, all right. So that's what we're starting with.
Impediments. Sorry, I said it.
That's okay. All right. The Township of Franklin is required to conduct a public hearing on the analysis of impediments to fair housing choice in Franklin Township. This is being done in conjunction with the consolidated plan process that the township is in the middle of for the next 5-year consolidated block grant funding period. The last time the analysis of impediments was updated was in 2012. It was reviewed yearly, but there was no need to change it due to the relatively small growth rate in the population in the township during that time period. However, since we are starting a new cycle, I did want to update this so that we're consistent with the data that's in the new consolidated plan. The township, the federal government requires the township to do this as part of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 and the National Affordable Housing Act. We are to examine the following areas. We're to do an analysis of the demographics, the income and employment data. We're to evaluate any fair housing complaints that have been filed in the jurisdiction. We're to review the sale or rental of housing, to look at real estate transactions, financing, public policy, and administrative policies for activities that may affect housing choice for minorities. and to assess the current fair housing resources available in the township. The demographic profile of the township at this time, utilizing the 2018 5-year average from the American Cities Survey estimate, puts the township population at 65,442. It says that there are 24,470 households in Franklin, of which 16,881 are family households. The average household size is 2.64. The average family size is 3.22. The number of occupied units, 2,470, and 17,419, or 71% of those units are owner-occupied houses, and 29% are renter-occupied households. So it also finds in the area of diversity that Franklin is racially diverse, 44.5% white, 28.3% Black or African American, 20.2% Asian, and other races comprise 1.5% and 5.5%. The total Hispanic population, 10.6%, and 89.4% non-Hispanic. We also looked at employment status. All of this information is going to be posted on the website for review. I don't want to go through line by everything that was there, but I also want to take the opportunity to let the township residents know that we're still in the comment period for the analysis. And if there are any concerns that you have, I would really appreciate it if you would take the time to go to the township website. Under the Community Development Block Grant Department, you will find the survey. There is a survey in particular that addresses problems with fair housing. If you've had any problems, I would appreciate if you would complete that survey and email it back to me so that we can include your comments or concerns as part of the analysis. That's all I have on that particular topic.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Sorry, someone was calling me. Let's see, I'm trying to get my, okay. Actually, before we go to the public hearing, Mitchell, if I could just ask you, you had some papers for me to sign. Is it okay if I sign those on Thursday, or you need them before then?
Thursday is fine.
Okay, I'll do them Thursday.
Thank you.
So we're now on to the public hearing for the analysis of impediments. Do we have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
You need a second?
Second.
You need a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of opening to the public on this side, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are open for public hearing on analysis of impediments to fair share choice. 2 minutes. Please state your name and address, Mr. McQueen.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor. For those of you that are logged into the computer, if you can open your chat window on the bottom right, you will see a raised hand icon. If you click on that, it will allow you to raise your hand. Once you're done speaking, if you click it again, it will lower your hand. For those that are called in, if you hit *3 on your telephone, that will raise your hand, and I will be able to call on you. And once you're done speaking, if you hit *3 again, that will lower your hand. So again, if you're logged in on the computer, the chat window, raise hand feature, or *3 on a telephone, please do so now so we can see if there's any public comment. Mr. Mayor, I see no indication anyone wants to speak.
A motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
Second.
Moved in seconded, all in favor of closing public portion, this portion of the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. So now we are on to the public hearing on CDBG Program Consolidation Plan 2020-24 and First Year Action Plan of 2020. Ms. Mitchell.
Okay. This public hearing is for our consolidated plan for 2020 to 2024. The township qualifies for federal funds as an entitlement community. We have a population in excess of 50,000, so we receive funds directly from the federal government to assist in providing decent housing, suitable living environments, and economic opportunities for persons of low and moderate income. The funds can be used for blight and the prevention of blight conditions, which lead to neighborhood deterioration. It can be used to make improvements to neighborhood properties and community facilities that primarily benefit low and moderate income persons, to preserve the housing stock for low and moderate income persons, to expand and improve the quality of community services for low and moderate income persons, to restore and preserve historic properties that would be beneficial to low and moderate income persons, to encourage and increase neighborhood diversity, to encourage economic development in distressed areas, and to conserve energy through energy efficient improvements. The township is eligible for $273,571 for the year 2020. And in this instance, we have a survey online for this as well. Residents were given the opportunity to participate in the formulation of goals that will be in the 2020 Community Development Consolidated Plan, and activities that would be meaningful that would be included in our action plan. The survey process is still open. Once again, you can find the community needs assessment on the township webpage under community development block grant under departments. I did get some responses to date for the survey, and thus far the priorities identified by residents were public services with an emphasis on community services for children and for families that are victims of domestic violence. Priority 2 was emphasis on assisting homeowners who have issues with ADA issues in their unit, code enforcement, and minor home repairs. Priority 3 was economic development with small business loans, job training and development, and micro enterprise development scoring highest in importance. Priority 4 was community facilities with a focus on community centers and similar improvements, parks and recreation, and senior citizen centers. Priority 5, public improvements, in particular handicapped accessibility, streets and sidewalks, and improved street lighting. I will be utilizing the feedback from residents as I prepare the consolidated plan. And I will post for review the request for fundings that we had for 2020. At this point, I'm not asking council to vote on any of this tonight. We will do that in July. I want to make sure that we've given the public adequate opportunity to have their say on all of these before we finalize everything. That's all I have on that subject.
Okay, thank you. So we now can have the public hearings. We have a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are now open to the public on this item. Mr. McQueen.
Yes, good evening. Again, if you wish to speak and you're dialed in on the computer or logged in on the computer, please open your chat window and use the raised hand feature at the bottom right. Once you have been called on and you're done speaking, please lower your hand. If you're dialed in on the phone, you can hit *3 to raise your hand. And then once you're done speaking, hit *3 again to lower your hand. Please state your name and address when speaking. Mr. Mayor, I have no indication anyone would like to speak.
Motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing the public portion, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Public portion on this item is closed. We are now on to public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. So second readings are obviously after first reading. First readings, we announce to the public that we're going to have a vote, and second readings when we have the vote and a public discussion. So we have one item for the public discussion and second reading. That's ordinance 4326-20, ordinance amending Code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 333, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 3, Street Improvements, Section 333-48, Construction Details for Pavement, Subsection D, Resurfacing adjacent to existing curbs or over concrete gutter, is presented for public hearing and final adoption. Public hearing has been noticed as required. We have a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are open to the public for 2 minutes on this item. Mr. McQueen.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor. Again, if you wish to speak on this item, please open your chat window. Use the raise hand option on the lower right-hand side. Once you have been called on and are done speaking, if you could lower your hand. If you are dialed in by phone, you may hit the *3 on your phone to indicate the raise hand option, and then *3 again to put your hand down. If you're going to speak, please state your name and address. Mr. Mayor, I have no indication anyone would like to speak on this.
Motion to close the public portion of the hearing on this ordinance.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing public portion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Public portion is closed. Do we have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. This is an item, as I discussed last time, that when paving roads, they won't pave up the cement apron of the homeowner's driveway or on the existing curbs or concrete gutter. Any other discussion? Madam Master Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Councilman Chase.
Councilman Chase? Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chaka? Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
It passes. Now an ordinance on introduction and first reading, ordinance 4327-20, ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 50, Police Department, Section 50-10, eligibility for promotion, 50-11, promotion to sergeant and lieutenant, and 50-12, promotion to captain. The foregoing ordinance is presented to Township Council for adoption for first reading, posting, publication in accordance with the law, and public hearing and final adoption on adoption at virtual meeting of the Township Council to be held via WebEx on Tuesday, July 14th, 2020 at 7 p.m. We have a motion on the item.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. So, as the title pretty much spells out, this is a adjustment of the ordinance on how promotions are performed from to sergeant and lieutenant and to captain. The ideas were presented to us by our public safety director. They were presented in the public safety meeting of a couple of weeks ago. It is now before council. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Onijaka? Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
We're on to the consent agenda. Items A through M as listed in the consent agenda portion of this meeting are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or anyone want to pull an item? I see none. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Okay, Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Onijaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
We have no items to be voted on separately. We have old business, 2020 boards, committees, commissions, and vacancies. Anyone have a nomination? Going once, going twice. I see none. There is no executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, well, Frank. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.